Welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, says the WTO has launched some programs to improve standards for some crops in Nigeria for economic diversification. She disclosed this while hosting President of Nigeria's Senate, Godswill Akpabio, adding that measures are also in place to control illegal fishing.
We spoke of the recent programs that we launched from a program, some capacity building from the Standards and Trade Development Facility to help with improving sanitary and phytosanitary standards for some of the crops in Nigeria so that it can help with diversifying the economy to even fisheries. One of the members, one of the senators, raised the issue of illegal fishing and mining of the waters of Nigeria. And it was with great pleasure that we explained about the Fisheries Subsidies Agreement Part 1. And hopefully we'll close Part 2 so that this will help control illegal and unreported fishing and overfishing of water.
And we came to once thank her for the great job she's doing for the entire world, and then the policies put in place to streamline and ensure the workability of world trade.
We are going home more refreshed because we have seen a space here for Africa to thrive in business and in trade. We discussed a lot of issues, including African Trade Agreement and how the WTO is going to work with us towards achieving it.
Back in Nigeria, the House Committee on Health is collating critical information for consideration by the Green Chambers to address challenges facing health institutions in the country for optimal service delivery. Chairman of the committee, Amos Gwamna Magaji, made this known when he led committee members on oversight visits to the Federal Medical Center, Yenagoa. Ebinemi Zitimiyola reports.
Public health institutions in Nigeria are very important as they provide care for the well-being of the citizenry. Service delivery in these institutions has over the years been affected by the challenges of poor funding, inadequate facilities, manpower and more. Citizens, especially the indigent who are without access to other sources of health care, have been calling for improved service delivery. Moved by these concerns, the House of Representatives Committee on Health Institutions, led by its chairman Amos Gwamna Magaji, has paid a visit to the Federal Medical Center, Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. Earlier, the committee met with management, staff and union representatives. Issues of non-payment of hazard allowances and promotion arrears topped the discussion.
Manpower shortage has made those available to work for longer periods of hours, and of course the allowances. So these are some of the take-home that we have that we are going to work on.
In terms of equipment, they have told us that the government is sending equipment to all tertiary institutions, and very soon we'll be receiving ours too. We thank them for this visit.
Dr. Metmi calls for greater collaborations from the public and private sector towards repositioning the health facility. In Yenagoa, Ebinimi Zitimiyola, NTA News.
The federal government has constituted ginger blight epidemic control task force towards eradicating the fungal infection affecting the production of the root crops. Minister of State for Agriculture, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, said the outbreak of the disease affected ginger worth 12 billion naira in 2023. Musa Baba Aliyu reports.
The outbreak of blight, a fungal infection in root crops, is gradually crippling social and economic activities in ginger-producing states. Nigeria is said to have lost close to 15 billion naira due to her inability to export ginger in 2023 as a result of the outbreak of the disease. Kaduna is the worst hit, being the largest ginger-producing state in the country.
The ginger blight issue is a very serious issue. This is 9,000 farmers that have been affected, almost 2,500 hectares of land.
Preliminary investigations have revealed that the ginger blight is as a result of fungus, and we are trying to see the researchers work on it to know the exact type of fungus so that we can get a remedy to it.
And here is the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, inaugurating an epidemic task force with a mandate of finding solution for the disease.
Technical and research committee will be dedicated to understanding the disease and developing control measures to mitigate future reoccurrence, while also ensuring that we revive and restore back our germplasm.
Ginger farmers in the epidemic areas are advised to suspend planting of ginger for now, as government rolls out support to alleviate their social and economic challenges.
Well, the most important thing is for us to have solution by having clean seeds that have not been affected, which is why the research institutes have started work now. They are using tissue culture to get clean ginger seeds so that we'll start planting those ones that are free of the fungi.
NADF is going to do is that we are going to invest in reinvigorating this very crucial crop that we have. We are starting out with some sort of a livelihood reconstruction for the farmers. The Kaduna State government is asking or has mandated that the farmers go on crop rotation. They are going to avoid any root crops or any legumes. So we are looking at doing maize and sorghum.
Nigeria is the second largest producer of ginger in the world, with market value worth more than $6.29 billion as at 2023. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Now to a bit of health matters. Sokoto State recorded 31,907 confirmed cases of tuberculosis in 2023. As the state commemorates World Tuberculosis Day 2024, health authorities and stakeholders are re-strategizing on better ways to combat the spread of the infectious disease. Dalhatu Abdullahi has the details.
This roadwork by officials of the Ministry of Health and donor agencies, among other stakeholders in the health sector, commences from Kangiwa Secretariat and terminated at Specialist Hospital Sokoto to commemorate the 2024 World Tuberculosis Day. This is with a view to sensitize the public on the dangers and preventive measures against the respiratory disease. Sokoto State Government says it remains committed to providing quality and accessible healthcare services to the people and urge for collective efforts to contain tuberculosis and other diseases for a healthy society.
I urge all the stakeholders to rely behind this program, contribute to the total eradication of TB and other communicable disease within our state.
Stakeholders described tuberculosis as a deadly communicable disease that is preventive and curable. The event features paper presentation that gave update on tuberculosis program in Sokoto State.
It's preventable, it's curable, and the treatment services, right from diagnosis up to the end of the treatment, TB services are free of charge.
The theme for the celebration 2024, We End TB Today. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
My colleague Lawali Salihu is in Sokoto now to give us an update of the 2024 World Tuberculosis Day. Good to see you, Lawali.
Good afternoon, Ayode. Welcome to Sokoto.
Oh yes, is the level of awareness on the symptoms of tuberculosis disease in the state?
Kayode, obvious 25th of March every year is set aside by World Health Organization and as Tuberculosis Day. And this year is not an exception, and also Sokoto State is not an exception. That is why a lot of activities were set aside yesterday, and there are so many things were done as part of campaigns. And as part of it is again this backdrop that I was able to gather information from the Ministry of Health here in Sokoto State on the data of tuberculosis in 2023, as 2024 is still not matured according to the ministry to give data for the tuberculosis. According to the data in 2023, there was over 313,000 cases, suspected cases of tuberculosis, out of which over 31,000 was identified, diagnosed, and out of which 997 were children among the diagnosed victims of tuberculosis in Sokoto State. And apart from that also, I gathered that there are many centers in which here, especially Sokoto is one of the centers where victims of tuberculosis are being tested and also treatment carried out. So according to the sources, that is Ministry of Health, I was able to gather that there are 11 a sort of line site expert center, as they call it, where tests are being done and also treatment given for such a kind of people suffering from that disease. Apart from that also, there's another center they call LAM centers, 7 centers here in Sokoto State, where similar things is being given to victims of tuberculosis here in Sokoto State.
Lawali, with statistics of approximately 32,000 cases in 2023, what level of optimism can we have that these numbers will drop drastically by the time we do the 2025 World Tuberculosis Day?
Now, that's why yesterday when I was talking to one of the officials of the Ministry of Health, that's the Commissioner Ministry of Health, Balarabe, she told me that now Sokoto's government is committed more than ever to ensure that the number of cases of tuberculosis drop down drastically, so that at least there will be less cases of tuberculosis in Sokoto State. According to her, this is going to across all the 23 local government in terms of finding out the data currently, so that they will know the way or rather the measures to be taken so as to ensure that the data goes down, so that there will be less people carrying the diseases or less people that will be infected by the disease. As you know, most of the people that are even suffering from these diseases, they are scattered in the communities. And that is why even the authority now is always calling on the people who are feeling, or rather who see a sort of symptoms of this disease, to go to one of the health facilities so that they can receive treatment, so that they can be treated by the health centers wherever they are, either here in Sokoto Metropolis or wherever they find themselves. So that is the situation here in Sokoto. So Sokoto State is committed to ensuring that the number goes down drastically.
Lawali Saliu, I'd like to thank you for joining us on Nationwide.
Thank you so much.
I've been conversing with Lawali Saliu in our Sokoto center there, giving us an update of efforts by the Sokoto State government to reduce cases of tuberculosis in the state. Let's move on and also tell you that the multinational joint task force says 2 Boko Haram commanders of Bakura Buduma faction have surrendered to troops of Sector 3 of the MNJTF in Nigeria. MNJTF Chief of Military Public Information, Lieutenant Colonel Abubakar Abdullahi, indicates that the terrorists Ibrahim Muhammad and Awal Muhammad alias Wanka surrendered on 25th March 2024. He added that the surrendered terrorists, who are active Boko Haram commanders operating in the Lake Chad Islands, made the decision amid mounting pressure from ongoing military actions. Preliminary investigation indicates that Ibrahim and Awal Muhammad disclosed their long-standing affiliation with the faction, revealing that they had operated under the Bakura Buduma-led faction for 15 years in Kwalaram, located in the Lake Chad Islands, and various items, including weapons, were recovered from them. A High Court of Rivers State, sitting in Port Harcourt, has ruled that Celestine Omehia never served as governor of Rivers State. Justice Daketima Keo gave the verdict in a suit filed by Omehia against the Rivers State governor, Attorney General of the state, Speaker of the State House of Assembly, while acknowledging that Celestine Omehia never officially served as governor of Rivers State. The court held that proper interpretation of the governor and deputy governor pension and free benefits law precludes him from benefiting from the pension scheme as stipulated under the state's pension law. The court also ruled against the demand of the Rivers State government and the Rivers State House of Assembly for Omehia to refund over 696 million naira paid to him as pension and other benefits until his derecognition. In the light of this, the court held that Omehia cannot be held liable for the errors of the defendants in the suit. Justice Q affirmed the Supreme Court's characterization of Omehia as an impostor and held that he should not be accorded the status of a former governor or benefits from the governor and deputy governor pension law. The Supreme Court on Thursday, October 25, 2007, removed Celestine Omehia and replaced him with Rotimi Amechi as the duly elected governor of Rivers State. In another development, Kano State High Court has convicted a Chinese national, Geng Quanrong, for murder. The presiding judge, Justice Sanusi Adomaji, sentenced Geng Quanrong to death by hanging. The court convicted Geng for the murder of his Nigerian girlfriend, Kusolum Buhari in Kano. Quanrong, a 47-year-old Chinese, was found guilty on culpable homicide, punishable with death under Section 221 of the Penal Code Law of Kano State. Quanrong committed the offense on September 16, 2022, when he stabbed Kusolum Buhari, a 23-year-old, to death at a family residence in Jambolo Quarters, Kumbotso local government area of Kano State. During the arraignment, the defendant pleaded not guilty to the charge. In the course of the trial, the prosecution presented 6 witnesses to prove its case against the defendant and tendered 4 exhibits. Also in its verdict, the court further recommended prerogative of mercy on behalf of the convicts to be considered by the Kano State governor. Let's go over to our Lagos Network Center and Nationwide, and Adeola will be our guide. Over to you, Adeola.
Thank you, Ayodeji. Members of the Muslim community have been charged to replicate good values and sustain remarkable legacies which late Malam Yusuf Jibo, former Zonal Director of NTA Lagos Network Center, epitomized, particularly in the area of showing compassion to humanity. Speakers at the 11th edition of Malam Yusuf Jibo annual Ramadan lecture held in the premises of the Nigerian Television Authority has this to say.
Among the activities of the holy months of Ramadan is the convergence of Islamic faithful at various locations for special lectures, which provide another opportunity for Islamic clerics to give insights to followers on how to do the right thing during and after the Ramadan. One of such gatherings is the Malam Yusuf Jibo annual Ramadan lecture, which brings Muslims from far and near together to tap from the knowledge of Islamic scholars.
Crime has no religion. Crime
Aman
has no
Adangba, who dwelt on the topic,
have
total reliance on Allah, a panacea to the present economic reality, emphasized that for Nigeria to move forward, there is need for citizens to shun corruption and put their trust in Allah.
As such, don't embezzle. As such, don't steal. As such, don't be corrupt. Make sure you invest in others.
Zonal Director, NTA Lagos Network Center, Nick Oyinshi, advised the Muslim community to sustain late Malam Yusuf Jibo's legacies.
They should have an NGO whereby they can distribute his way of, that is his calling to people around, like helping the needy and the poor.
The Ramadan lecture also featured Quran recitation.
Irrespective of our tribe, we should come together and ensure that we have a common ground.
And reassess yourself and to further plan ahead. How do you want to be better?
Malam Yusuf Jibo is a principal center leader who believes in togetherness of the people.
Late Malam Yusuf Jibo served the Nigerian Television Authority and rose to the rank of zonal director before his demise in 2010. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Talking youth now. Nigerian youths have strategic roles to play in the nation's development, and giving them the needed impetus to achieve these roles should be a collective responsibility. Those were submissions of respondents who spoke on how to get youths participate actively in national development. Bolaji Akim completes the report.
Youths Obey the Clarion Call is a national anthem of the NYSC, calling on youths to lift the country high. This message is for all Nigerian youths who are described as the engine room of any country and are seen as future leaders. All over the world, youths develop various innovations and ideas that drives the world economy. Nigeria, with a population of over 200 million and over 70% of them falling into the youth category, is not left behind. With the youth percentage in the country, stakeholders are of the opinion that Nigerian youths can still contribute more to nation building by providing perspectives and energy to drive economic development and social progress.
When it comes to new bodies of knowledge, especially in the space of technology and the media, we've seen what these young people are capable of doing. It's not in doubt that the older generation are not able to compete as well when it comes to matters of technology.
If you think of politics taking a bearing from the last elections, you find that across the political parties, youths were very much active.
Identification of purpose, unity, avoiding partisan politics and tribal sentiments on the part of the youths, many say will increase youths' expectations in fulfilling their roles in nation building.
For you to have national development, you must know yourself, that is one. 2, the values we stand for. 3, the principles. 4, the vision. And 5, the change you would like to see in your states.
There is a consensus among experts that with the creation of a viable social and political environment, the impact of the Nigerian youth in nations building will be seen and felt by everyone. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
And those are reports from Lagos. Nationwide will continue with Salamatu in our Kaduna Network Center after this time out. Please stay with us.
Welcome to Kaduna on Nationwide. Residents of Kaduna have applauded the efforts of the Nigerian military in rescuing the abducted Kuriga school children. Haruna Muhammad reports that the act is seen as demonstration of commitment to finding other abductees and track down the perpetrators of these crimes.
Many states in the northwest of Nigeria are experiencing security challenges that include abduction, and Kaduna is not left out. Recently, the news on the adoption of Kuriga school children filtered in, throwing many parents and Kaduna state government into confusion. The students who were abducted during the morning assembly could not be reached for more than 2 weeks. It is a thing of joy for the government, parents and the people of Kaduna state as the students are released on Saturday. Cross-section of people in Kaduna expressed their feelings.
Well, it's a welcome development, and as a parent also, it's something that is a relief for the parent. I'm hoping that the government will intensify effort in securing our students.
I am happy about their being released.
I feel happy as a parent, and you see, security is not government's responsibility alone. You see, we should revert to what it used to be like in those days, that a district head have a role given by government, that anybody coming to your domain will come to the head, he will be introduced to the resident there, so that any new person you are seeing, you raise alarm.
In as much as the people are happy about the release of the students, they are however calling on government to intensify security around schools in the country. In Kaduna, Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
Away from Kaduna, Jigawa State Consultation and Sensitization Committee, a subcommittee to the Technical Committee on Flood Mitigations, begins a statewide sensitization campaign ahead of the 2024 rainy season. Muhammad Musa Askira reports that the committee says the sensitization is necessary to prepare citizens to support the government ahead of time to address the challenge.
Deforestation for domestic fuel, artificial and natural causes of waterways blockage, and the cutting of embankments constructed to protect communities and farmlands from being destroyed by the flood are some of the issues this committee is meant to address. The consultation committee, led by the Commissioner for Environment, represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Abdullahi Namadi, is meeting stakeholders for collaboration to find a lasting solution to the problem through massive tree planting, the silting of drainages and rivers, and the construction of embankments, among other measures. On this mission, the Ringim local government was the first point of call, where the acting chairman, Mustafa Yunusa Endute, says that though the Ringim local government area does not have the problem of taifa grass blocking the waterways, however, the water released by major dams in Kano, like Tiga, among others, are the ones affecting the council area, particularly from the upstream Dabi village. At the Ringim Emirate, senior councillor of the Emirate, Usman Sayyidi Abubakar, received the committee on behalf of the Emir, assuring the committee that the Emirate is ready to support the government in tackling the perennial flooding, destroying farmlands and houses in some parts of Jigawa State.
Flooding has been a perennial issue in Jigawa State, and it has been so devastating because it claims a lot of land, houses, including lives.
The Jigawa State government, through this technical committee, is working assiduously to address the problem of flooding to improve agricultural production and the living conditions of the communities affected. From Duty, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA.
And Askira's reports conclude our package from here. Let's rejoin Ayo Deji in our Abuja studio. Good evening, Ayo. Good evening, Ayo.
Thanks, Salamatu, in our Kaduna Network Center. Back here in Abuja, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria has voted to further hike interest rates by 200 basis points to 24.75% from 22.75% to further check inflation. CBN Governor Yemi Cardoso says though the move may affect cost of borrowing, he is confident that sustaining monetary policy reforms will help achieve price stability in the shortest time.
Saying is that going forward, we expect that if the environment is such that requires us to tighten, we will tighten. Our projections, however, indicate that things will begin to moderate from about May onwards. And the projection, as you may know, is that by the end of the year, we're expecting the inflationary rates to have come down significantly. So we believe that we're on the right course, and of course, one particular area of cheer as a result of the actions we have taken is the moderation in the foreign exchange rate, which you have seen.
Katsina State government has pledged to provide logistics and other essential support towards making the newly established State Road Traffic Agency more vibrant to stand the test of time. Governor Dikko Umar Radda said this during the graduation ceremony of 307 new marshals trained at the College of Disaster Management of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. Katsina, Awal Haliru reports.
The 307 newly recruited marshals of the Katsina State Road Traffic Agency received rigorous training to undertaking the assignment of protecting lives and property of the people. This graduation parade is the show of determination to working diligently towards realizing the objectives of the agency. Governor Dukwarada urged the newly recruited marshals to be law-abiding.
I'm calling on all the security agencies to give maximum cooperation to this agency, which was established by a law, so that they can be able to discharge their duties diligently.
The Provost, College of Peace and Disaster Management of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, ACG Babangida Abdullahi, assured continued collaboration with Katsina State government in training of personnel and other areas of enhancing security and safety in the state. Awan Halaru, NTA News.
Moving on to a bit of environment matters. To protect the environment in Anambra State from erosion and other environmental hazards, concerned citizens say proactive measures against illegal sand miners are necessary. Daniel Ukpai in this report assesses sand mining activities and negative impact on the ecosystem.
This gully, orchestrated by decades of sand excavation, is typical of the environmental degradation being meted on the ecosystem, a phenomenon which many concerned citizens have identified as one of the fundamental causes of erosion. With more than 1,000 active erosion sites across the length and breadth of Anambra State, the question is, what are the measures the government is taking to check the activities of illegal sand excavators and to mitigate the impact on the environment?
It shouldn't be everywhere and anywhere, especially where you have erosion-prone areas. In Anambra State, we have ecologically endangered zones that any form of mining or sand excavation would instead aggravate the situation and make it worse.
While urging for environmental friendly practices, some of the citizens advocate legal framework to regulate activities of the sand excavators, who sometimes risk death in the course of the unwholesome environmental practice.
Once government wields the big stick and tries to use the regulatory bodies to check such excesses, I want to believe we can reclaim Anambra soil.
Suggest a bill by way of public opinion, as I am doing now, to the State House of Assembly or to the National Assembly that will enact legislations or legal re-engineering that will regulate how these people excavate sand from where we live and all of that.
Though sands are critical for building necessary infrastructure, stakeholders stress the need for environmental impact assessment, which they believe is important to check the negative effect on the ecosystem. In Oka, Daniel Ukpai, NTA News.
Concerned about the deadly effect of greenhouse gas emission on climate and human health, Nigeria is strengthening its climate action strategies as it gathers to brainstorm on an ongoing project for methane mitigation and reduction in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. Correspondent Salwal Khalil Ibrahim reports.
Methane, a potential greenhouse gas with significant warming potential, poses a threat to human existence and the climate. By taking action in reduction of methane emission, especially in the oil and gas sector, Nigeria is not only strengthening its climate action, but also unlocking the benefit for public health, food security, and economic development.
Nigeria, as a leading oil and gas producer in Africa, recognizes its responsibility to take decisive action in mitigating greenhouse emission, particularly methane.
Stakeholders here are expected to assess the status, gaps and opportunities from an initial mapping of methane landscape in Nigeria for effective and sustained mitigation and reduction efforts.
We are talking about methane not only from oil and gas, but also methane from waste is a big issue. Methane from agriculture is also big.
A deep dive into the research on legislations, regulations, and what have you in this sector.
We aim to identify key takeaways to inform the project research and develop actionable strategies that would drive tangible progress in reducing methane emissions within Nigeria's oil and gas sector.
As steward of our environment and custodian of future generations, It remains incumbent on us to confront this issue directly with unwavering determination and collaborative efforts.
So far, Nigeria is the first country in Africa to regulate methane emission in the energy sector. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Enugu is next on Nationwide, and Chinenye has the next set of reports. Over to you, Chinenye.
Thank you so much, Ayodeji. Welcome to Enugu. Graduates of the Federal Road Safety Corps Command and Staff College, UDI, Enugu State, have been charged to uphold the tenets of the Corps and to maintain the dignity of national unity. The Corps Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps, gave the charge during the graduation ceremony of students from the college. Chegonu Aro reports.
A total number of 20 students of Senior Course 2 who started the journey of leadership and management role 6 months ago graduated having successfully completed the various courses on leadership and management, ICT, FRSC operations, legal framework, study tour, and exercises, among others.
The road to success is always rough, but the fruits of well-nourished plants are acceptable worldwide. These young officers were prepared academically to uphold the core values of FRSC as a lead agency in road traffic administration and safety management.
The 20 graduating students were decorated with their past staff college, PSC, presented with certificates and merit awards to students who performed excellently.
This training will no doubt contribute positively to the staff discharge of their duties and will generally improve productivity in FRSC.
We promise to uphold the tenets of this college and be the agents of change in the Corps.
Goodwill messages from the representative of the state governor and other sister agencies were also taken.
The government, in collaboration with security agencies, FRSC inclusive in the state, are doing everything possible to ensure that motorists can move about freely and in a secure environment within the state.
The Federal Road Safety Corps College was established in 2020 as a preparatory class for higher responsibilities to further expose officers to the tenets of the college and future leadership role nationwide. In Enugu, Chegonu Aro, NTA News.
Enugu State Governor Dr. Peter Mba says his administration is committed to providing policies and programs that will benefit the people. He was speaking at a town hall meeting in Enugu. It was a platform that afforded the people of the state the opportunity to bear their minds on critical projects and programs of government that has direct impact on the well-being and development of the people since the inception of the present administration. Issues of insecurity, multiple taxation, workers' welfare, high cost of living, and poverty dominated the discourse.
Some people have concerns about the quantum of tax they have to pay. And is there a balance on how you intend to accomplish this?
What are the plans in place to sensitize these women to start using these health facilities?
The challenge we are having in the private sector is if we can get to know where the private sector come in the smart school that is on board in Enugu State.
The governor said his administration is committed to transparent, accountable, and accessible governance and identified some sectors that have experienced massive improvements such as water, security, agriculture, health, infrastructure, and roads rehabilitation.
We understand that we need to redouble our efforts and opportunities such as this is one that we go back and have a huge reflection on the things we have said there and design our program to ensure that it fits and it's also people-centered.
The governor expressed optimism that the state economy will multiply and assured the people of conducive living and business environment. In Enugu, Chinenye, NTA News. And those are the stories from Enugu. We'll take another break here, and Nationwide will continue with Ashmau in Shakoto thereafter. Do stay.
and a warm welcome to Sokoto on Nationwide. Sharing news for people with disabilities in Zamfara as the state government has indicated commitment to commence the implementation of Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act soon. This was the major takeaway from the Medin Town Hall meeting on disability matters in Zamfara State held in Gusau. Jamilu Ibrahim has more.
The Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act was signed into law by the immediate past President Muhammadu Buhari in January 2019. The law criminalizes all forms of discrimination against persons with disability by protecting their rights and privileges. The act was subsequently domesticated and passed by Zamfara State House of Assembly, as well as assented to by the immediate past Governor Bello Muhammad, but yet to be implemented. This is a town hall meeting on disability matters in Zamfara State, with the issue of implementing the act at the focal point.
If properly implemented as rightly planned, the content is going to create a welfare to persons with special needs, bring about equality, and even removing the psychological trauma and stigma among persons with special needs.
As people living with disability, there are many of them that are intelligent. By inclusion, they will advise government.
A section of the participants underscored the positive impact of the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act, even as they advocated for its speedy implementation in Zamfara State.
Government to make sure that there is implementation of this bill that has passed into law, so that our people their life will improve.
Having the law to establish that commission or the board or agency, it makes it much easier for the particular peculiarities that has to do with disability.
One of the big takeaways for me here is actually to go to His Excellency. He's waiting for my feedback, and inshallah within maybe a couple of weeks we should be able to make progress so that full implementation can start in Zamfara State.
The town hall meeting is the first of its kind in the struggle to champion the cause of people with special needs in Zamfara State. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Wife of Sokoto State Governor Fatima Ahmed Aliyu has flagged off distribution of food items as Ramadan package to 3,000 women across the 23 local government areas of the state. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa reports.
These are some of the beneficiaries expressing their gratitude to the governor's wife for the gesture. Wife of Sokoto State Governor Fatima Ahmed Aliyu says the foodstuffs are provided to assist them observe the Ramadan fast with ease. She maintains that the current administration in the state is women-friendly, considering free medical care for women and children, as well as empowerment programs initiated to make them self-reliant.
We are not unaware of the huge contributions and sacrifices you made in ensuring the success of this administration during the last election. Therefore, consider yourselves among the top stakeholders in this administration.
Commissioner for Women Affairs Hadiza Ahmed Shagari noted that the gesture is to appreciate women for their support during the general elections. From Sokoto, Bashir Ibrahim Nababa, NTA.
And that is our package from Sokoto. Is back to IODG in Abuja for the continuation of the news.
Thanks, Asmao, in our Sokoto Network Center. Now, the presidential media team, led by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, visits Kano and Jigawa states as part of efforts to get first-hand information on the efforts of the federal government on agricultural revolution. Now, details of this will be live on the NTA network at 10 p.m. tonight after the network news, and of course it will be an elaborate package of the visits. Let's also tell you that 16 members-elect of the platform of the All Progressives Congress for the Plateau State House of Assembly in the 2023 general election have met with the national leadership of the party to further indict the perpetual delay in their inauguration. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports.
The following political circumstance that unraveled to the outcome of the appellate court judgment on the 16 Plateau State Assembly members still persists. This is why the 16 members are questioning the intentions of the leadership of the State Assembly and that of the governor not to implement the decision of the appeal court judgment that sacked PDP members.
Your Excellency, by the time we are sworn in, we will do the very possible best to ensure that we continue to change the scenario, to change the thinking, the mindset of people that thinks APC is out of plateau. APC is still Durham on the plateau, Your Excellency.
Mr. President is the father of all, whether it's APC or any party. Mr. President is interested to see that there is peace and stability. But that is not at the expense of our own members. And Mr. President is so conscious of that.
National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress APC, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, urged them to remain calm as every constitutional means will be explored to ensure that they are inaugurated and allowed to perform their legislative duties without fear of intimidation. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
Next is sports updates with Olumide Eguntola.
The Nigerian Olympic Committee says athletes who excelled and made the country proud at the just concluded African Games in Ghana will be groomed for podium finish outing at the forthcoming Paris 2024 Olympic Games in France. President of the Nigeria Olympic Committee, Abu Gumel, commended Team Nigeria for showing high standards.
It is important that some athletes, they come here like a sort of trial for them. And so we have to work together jointly to ensure that our athletes are developed for the next World Championship.
In football, the Super Eagles of Nigeria will Tuesday evening attempt to continue their winning run against the Eagles of Mali in the second international friendly match in Morocco under the tutelage of interim coach Finidi George. Although some players will not be available for the match, the team and the coaches are determined to fly past their counterpart from Mali.
I'm expecting Coach Finidi George to actually change the team so that we can have fresh legs that haven't played, especially those ones that didn't play the game against Ghana.
We have Inacho, not forgetting, Ndidi and all that. I think they are very fantastic goalkeeper, Wabali. Nigeria will come triumph today.
Still on football matters, Super Falcons head coach Randy Waldron has listed 22 players for his team's 2024 Olympic Games final round qualifier against the Bayana of South Africa next month. Some of the players include Ostinachi Ohale, useful midfielder Deborah Abiodun, Uche Nakanu, 2019 World Cup star Chidinma Okeke, and under 20 defender Shukrat Oladipo got first invitation, among others. The Super Falcons are at home for the first leg, scheduled for Friday, 5th April, at the MKO Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, before flying to Pretoria for the return leg on the 9th of April. In combat sport, the Nigerian Mixed Martial Arts Federation says modalities to ensure that combat sports become a scoring event are met before the next African Games in Egypt.
Mixed martial art as a scoring sport, next communal African Games, it's 90%. We can guarantee you. So it's now on the federation, it's now for athletes to also work to, because we are going to do our part to ensure that we bring our best.
The combat sport, which featured as a demonstration sport at the 13th All-African Games in Ghana, showcased 4 fighters who won 4 medals. With sports update, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
That's nationwide. I'd like to thank you for watching. I'm Ayo Deji Makinde. On behalf of the entire production crew, good evening.